No flags, just chalk in a loaded bar. Every nation said the best, they travel far. Finish ice in American steel, Brazilian fire. Every kilo on this platform raises the bar higher. Classic rules, no gear, just skin and will. The world is watching now, the arena's still. You spent 4 years in silence, nobody clapped. Now the whole world holds its breath for where your hands are mapped. This is where the steel decides. When nations clash and glory hides. Every rep, every scar, every early morning drive. This is where the strongest ones arrive.
This is where the steel decides.
2 attempts down, 1 left on the clock. The platform doesn't care about your prep or your talk. Red light means nothing if you come back cleaner. Every kilo closer to a record, every margin leaner. East meets west under this same cold bar. You don't need a language when you know what you are. The iron is honest, it never inflates. It only bends for the ones who
Showed up to be great.
steel doesn't lie. Nations don't hide. This is the IPF classic. This is where legends are tried. When nations rise and nothing hides. Every scar, every 5 a.m., every weight you try. Brought you here to where the strongest ones arise.
Steel decides, steel decides.
Still decide.
Steel decides.
Good afternoon and welcome to the 2026 IPF World Championships here in Druskininkai, Lithuania. I am Amelia Potter, joined by Razi Mivat. Good afternoon, Razi.
Good afternoon, Amelia.
We are in for the 57 kilo B group for you today. It'll be 1 flight of 13, so we'll have slightly longer intervals in between, but we can see a running order here. Nominated squats, openers, and top there we have Lauren Keenan from Qatar opening 157.5. Quite a range of openers here, as we'd expect from the B group. Of course, with the A group later on this evening, a big battle to ensue with returning champion Sarah Naudi, returning multiple-time champion Joy Mani, and plenty of other names in the mix to fight for that. It's bound to be an extremely exciting class.
Very much so, and even the B group lifters are not to be counted out. Probably not for the top places in the podium, but in single lift medals, just looking at the nominations, we have Monica De La Torre with the second highest nominated bench press in the entirety of the 57 category, and also the top placers in the B group could finish as high up as 5th or 6th, just looking at how close the nominated totals were.
Yeah, so it's absolutely worth, but this is a big reason there are B groups. There are lifters who shine in a certain discipline or are just progressing to the point that maybe then, they're reaching that A group eventually. So definitely worth keeping an eye on some of these athletes, like you've said. First out, we have Dr. Toth Victoria Flavia from Hungary with 120 kilos on the bar. Has a personal best. I think she's nominated with lower numbers here. It says her best is 25, but certainly not the case.
Absolutely, that's a 2-to-1 good lift. She gets a blue and yellow light from the left side referee. Blue would be for soft knees or hips.
Yeah, it could be for a number of things. This is the side she gets the white from. I'm not sure. It looks like it might have been a mistake from the referee, which seems more reasonable. The lift looked fine to me.
Yeah, it also explains the double light.
We now have Florence Bondi from Thailand, 122.5 kilos, opening on her current best. And a lot of the time we'll see lifters in the B group that are perhaps newer to the sport, or just progressing like we said. So we see quite a few people maybe open near and around about their best, just like Florence.
It's a 2-to-1 good lift with a depth call from the side we're seeing the replay from. I can understand the red light here. We'll see if the jury intervenes in that. Does not seem like they will, so the lift will stand.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I wouldn't want to see her go any higher. It was pretty on the border. which is good enough. Michelle Lee from Singapore, 125 kilos on the bar.
Three white lights, very unproblematic, clean openers there. Plenty of depth. A consistent speed throughout the lift.
Elise Remens from Belgium, 130 kilos. Opening just 10 kilos below her best. Ramon's actually an M1 lifter, co-competing here at Open Worlds.
And not only that, the reigning European M1 champion.
Samantha Kratz, representing Australia, 135 kilos. Very comfortable opener there for Kratz. And a good lift, 3 white lights.
Next up, Switzerland and Denmark.
Anna Bukalova from Czechia, coming out for an opening attempt of 135 kilos.
Comfortable opener. 3 white lights, her personal best of 147.5. Very reasonably within reach with 2 jumps there.
Anouk Wandela from Switzerland, 135 kilos. 8 kilos below her personal best, which I imagine would be some sort of Swiss record there on the squat. If it's not a multiple of 2.5, it's a record somewhere.
Very controlled on the descent, 3 white lights, a good lift. Very reasonable first opener.
A very popular opening attempt here. Mathilde Oostergaard opening 145, which will remain on the bar for the following 2 lifters after Mathilde. Mathilde representing Denmark here, opening 8 kilos below her best. Again, looks like a Danish squat record. Very comfortable looking opener for Oostergaard. And a good lift, 3 white lights. Seeing more and more Danish lifters come through in the last few years, most notably of which we have Regan Stakakis, who will be competing on Friday. Katja Badic for Slovenia. 145 kilos, 10 kilos below her best, and I feel like every time I see Katja compete, she continues to push up that total, all her progress.
That's a pretty comfortable looking opener for Katja, and yeah, as you said, she just keeps improving little by little, very consistent.
Monica De La Torre from Mexico, and as you mentioned earlier, a big bench opener, the second biggest nominated bench, I think you said, in the entire 57 kilo category. I think 145 here.
It's not the fastest spot opener, but it's 3 weight lights reasonably comfortable.
Ziyin Huang, representing China, opening 147.5 kilos, opening just 2.5 kilos below her personal best.
Three white lights, a good lift.
Our penultimate opening attempt here, Marta Henry from Canada, 152.5 kilos.
Once again, 3 white lights.
And our final opening attempt here for this B group of 57s, 157.5 kilos in the bar for Qatar's Lauren Keenan. And I don't know that I've seen a Qatar singlet yet. It's very nice.
Yeah, I just wanted to point it out. Very nice color scheme. I like it.
And one of the newer, longer singlets as well at that. And a great opening squat on top of all that for Keenan, a good lift.
Yeah, that's 3 white lights, as you pointed out. Very uneventful first round of squats. I think 2 red lights in total, of which we believe 1 was a mistake. So exactly what we want to see for a first round of any lift. Now they can start pushing, and we'll see what happens in rounds 2 and 3.
With Keenan leading the pack with that 157.5. We head into that second round. We have Victoria Flavia jumping 7.5 kilos to 127.5. And I believe this was what we presumed was the mistake in red on that left-hand side. Now let's see if it was a mistake here. She can get those 3 white lights. There they are.
Absolutely, I couldn't see nothing wrong with that squat.
She did a great job to come back out, you know, keep her head screwed on, know that she was executing well. Florence Bondi from Thailand, 127.5, a 5 kilo jump.
This was the second red in round 1, and this one was more understandable. It was a depth call from the right hand side. And once you get one red, the referees are gonna be looking at that hip crease. Does it go below the top of the knee?
Shifts to the side a little bit, loses balance on that left foot and gets the depth call from the centre and side referee. And I think not only are the referees aware of it, the lifter is now more aware of the fact that maybe they're not squatting deep enough, and I think that time was a little bit higher than the first. I can see where the depth call came from.
Yeah, with a narrow stance, it's hard for the center referee to spot depth, but they did, and that's what cost her the lift. I don't think the jury's thinking about intervening, so that will unfortunately remain a no lift.
Michelle Lee here, handled by Farhana Farid, who broke the world record deadlift just last night, already handling here this afternoon. 135 on the bar, a 10 kilo jump.
It's a reasonable second attempt. 3 white lights, and still room there for a jump to a third.
Elise Rumens from Belgium, 137.5, 7.5 kilo jump. As you mentioned on the first round, reigning European champion for the Masters 1 category.
As a 2-to-1 good lift, it puts her just off her personal best at 140. We'll see if she decides to go match it. Oh, and the jury immediately overrules.
Yeah, and I'll definitely say it wasn't as egregious as an instant overall, but she's going to have to come back for that should she choose to retake it on that third.
It was not the easiest second, so I would retake it here.
I would agree with that. No need to risk pushing. There's no immediate battle. 142.5 kilos on the bar for Anna Buklova from Czechia, a 7.5 kilo jump. Very clean looking second attempt and a good lift. That's the thing, you know, it's important to plan out your attempts based on how you're feeling on the day. You've got to have an idea of where you think you'll be, but you've got to adjust to exactly what you have on the day, and that could change based on the cut, based on the warm-ups. A lot of things that go into it, and you need to be able to adapt. Anouk Wandela from Switzerland, 142.5, just half a kilo below her Swiss record. You can't check national records at international competitions, but she will be able to go over that and take home a new record in her third. Should this be successful? Really well controlled squat there.
There's a bit of a sticking point showing in the middle portion of the lift. It's still 3 white lights, and with a reasonably gauged jump, she can make a very solid third attempt.
Well, that's the thing as well, she's not in a fight, and if she's coming here today to extend her own national record, 2.5 kilos is going to be enough to do that. Samantha Kratz taking a 10 kilo jump. Team Australia here, 145 on the bar. still a little way off her best of 162.5. Australia is a pretty far trip from here.
It's 3 white lights, going strong in round 2.
Also, hard to know the backstories. A lot of lifters, whether they are changing weight classes, they've been struggling with an injury during prep. So, like I said, having what you have on the day and taking that is so important and the sign of a really clever athlete. Katja Babic, 150 kilos, a 5 kilo jump here for Slovenia.
Looks just about the same as her first attempt, which is what you would expect from Katja. Really consistent.
Marks loaded. Once the poster guard, 10 mark. Get ready.
Monica De La Torre from Mexico, 150 kilos. 5 kilo jump from her opening attempt. It's a little bit more work, but as to be expected, you know.
There is a red light from the right-hand side referee, which is the position we're going to see the replay from. It's a good lift, 2-1.
Yeah, the call was for depth, but looking at it, at least in my personal opinion, I think she should be okay with that.
I'd agree, I totally agree, but of course the referees are seeing it from closer up than we are.
Jury seem happy and agree with us also. 152.5 for Mathilde Østergaard from Denmark. Just half a kilo below her national record. As I said before, you can't chip national records at the World Championships, but if this goes well, just 2.5 kilos more would certainly take it home with her. And you've got to think that's a reasonable jump at the least.
Oh, I mean, it's 2.5 kilos, the smallest jump she can take, and I think it should be well within reach.
The marks loaded.
Ziyin Huang representing China, 155 kilos for a 5 kilo personal best here for Huang should she make this. A little sticky in a couple of places there, but it didn't seem necessarily like 100% a strength issue, maybe just in her head a little bit to me.
It's a 2-1 good lift, again a red light from the right side referee, and yeah, there was a sticking point just as she started to get out of the bottom position. I'd agree, maybe it's just mental.
I still take a conservative jump, you know, to help boost her confidence, but she moves forward into the third round with that attempt. Martha Henry from Canada, 157.5 kilos, a 5 kilo jump. Well, it's a little tough there in the middle portion, and it is 2-1, a good lift with one depth call. What do you think moving forward here?
First we have to examine whether the depth hole was really marginal. I think she should be okay here.
I would imagine maybe a 2.5 kilo jump there if they're wanting to secure that third.
At this point it really comes to the coach knowing the lifter. because some people have a really strong cutoff point and some are able to grind even when it seems they're at their limit.
Absolutely.
It all comes down to knowing the characteristics of the person you're handling on the platform.
Now, our biggest squatter of the flight, Lauren Keenan from Qatar, 167.5, and already this would be a 5 kilo personal best for Lauren should she make this. And it's a really nice squat. She dips into the hole nicely, no issues with depth, and looks very confident with it.
3 white lies, there's a hint of struggle there about halfway up, but there's still plenty there.
And with that, we move into the third and final round of squats for these ladies. Keenan still leading the pack, followed by Henri and Huang. Subject to change in terms of squat medals later as we see the A group come through, including those none other than Sarah Naudi and Bobby Butters, who have both at some point held that record. 130 on the bar for Florence Bondai from Thailand. She didn't get that second attempt of 127.5, has chosen to go to 130 in any case. Now, it wasn't a strength issue. Let's see if she can't sink it a little bit more.
It's a 2-1, just like round 1. She convinced the center referee this time. And if everything's the same as in the first round, she should be okay.
And it seems to me like she just dipped within the threshold that we'd want to see. Victoria Flavia from Hungary, 132.5 for a 5 kilo jump here. Sunk that very deep this time round, and I think maybe a little too deep.
Yeah, I think the dip into the hole was a bit scrappy, got out of position there, and could not recover. Let's see on the replay.
Yeah, you can see there she loses tension in that bottom portion. Sunk it, I think, a bit further than she'd want to, and it's just very difficult to get out of the position anyway, let alone on your heaviest weight. Looking to retake 137.5 kilos, we have Elise Rumens from Belgium. Florence managed to come back and get her third attempt. Is Elise able to do the same? Hits the hole hard, and she is fighting it up. Great effort. Is it deep enough?
It was a big effort for recovery. It's a 2-1 again. Yeah, she hit the hole there really hard, and it was a tough job to recover that. It's lucky that she did not go up from that missed 137.5. Retake it and get what you can on the day.
Michelle Lee from Singapore, 140 kilos. 5 kilo jump here from her second. This would be a 2.5 kilo personal best for Lee. Good fight there, getting that up. And it is a good lift and a new personal best for Michelle.
She did really good not to let the bar dip at that sticking point there. I think it was just about to go down if she didn't keep pushing.
Yeah, it keeps really good control of the bar through that difficult portion of the lift. Anna Bukalova, representing Czechia, taking a 5 kilo jump to 147.5 kilos. Feeling the pressure a little bit more this time. It's a match personal best on the international platform, and you're bound to feel every kilo of that. The hand was the pressure. Wow.
I think it was a perfect call. 3 white lights. Really nicely executed third attempt. Match personal best on the international stage, as you said.
The bar is loaded. Next up, Bryce Delaroy.
Anouk Wandeler from Switzerland, 147.5. Chose to more than just go over her current national record by taking this 5 kilo jump. This would extend her personal best and national record by 4.5 kilos.
Big fight through the sticking point, but just about the right call there. 3 white lights. Improves on her personal best. I'd imagine improves on the national record.
Yeah, and doesn't get bullied around by the bar at all there. Keeps the position super well. And a well-earned final squat. Samantha Kratz now from Australia, opting to take 150 kilos for that final attempt. Smiles all round with chants from the crowd. Does well to keep focus through the support. And does even better to stand it up. 3 white lights, a good lift for Kratz. You certainly know when the Australians are in the room.
The bar is loaded. Average once the bar. Get ready.
$152.5 kilos for Monica De La Torre from Mexico. Just 2.5 kilos off her best. Imagine, as you said, looking out for her during the bench press. Certainly a contender for the medals in bench press.
Oh, another great fight there through the sticking point. She was very shaky at the top. I was a bit unsure, but she did so well to fight through it, and it's a 2-1 again. A depth hold this time from the right side referee. I think it's just about enough. We'll see if the jury does anything about it.
I can't imagine they would. I think she dips just inside there and they seem happy to keep it as is. 155 kilos for a match personal best for Slovenia's Katja Babic.
And once again, super consistent third squat.
Yeah, if I'm looking for somebody to bet on to potentially go 9 for 9 or to improve their total, 9 times out of 10 I'll probably choose Babic. Mathilda Østergaard from Denmark, 160 kilos. Again, another lifter opting to try and improve their national record and personal best by more than just a little bit. This would be a 7 kilo personal best for Østergaard.
Another proper fight for the third. 3 white lights, a good lift.
Team Canada, 160 bars loaded.
Marta Henry from Canada, 160 kilos, opting for that 2.5 kilo jump that I thought would be sensible to take, and I'm glad to see Team Canada doing it. Second was a little scrappy. Third was a lot better. Nods from the coach and from the athlete. 2 to 1, a good lift, still with that depth score from the left side.
China, bars loaded, PB attempt at 5.
Yeah, this one seems right on the line. But once again, we're seeing the jury from the back and they don't seem to be preparing to intervene.
Zai Huang from China, our penultimate squat attempt here with 160 kilos. 5 kilo personal best, 5 kilo jump from her second. Nice and controlled squat. Hits a sticking point but fights through it. I don't think I saw the bar dip, and neither did the referees. 3 white lights.
And no easy third attempt here. Incredible job not to let the bar dip there.
Wow, yeah. Absolutely phenomenal. And our final squat of this afternoon session, 172.5 for Lauren Keenan of Qatar for a 5 kilo further personal best. And a huge squat for a 57 kilo lifter. This will be a bigger squat than a lot of the girls in the A group, I imagine.
Let's go, Lauren. Down and up. Thank you, come on.
Another proper fight. Can she push through? That just about.
And that was so devastatingly close, but what a massive feat. Look at this fight towards the top here. There's a few times I think she considers giving up and decides not to, and just as she feels it did, she knows it's time to save the energy.
Now I'd say if there was a slight updraft in the competition venue, she would have had that, but...
And to conclude that, a lot of lifters hitting that 160 mark. Keenan still leading the pack with that 167.5, but medals subject to change as we have the A group later on this evening. We're going to head into a 20-minute break now before bench press. We'll see you then. And welcome back to the 2026 IPF World Powerlifting Championships here in Druskininkai, Lithuania. We return with the 57 kilo B group as we head into the bench press event. As we mentioned before, Monica de la Torre from Mexico with the second biggest bench in both flights, so definitely a contender for a bench press medal. The bench press world record in the 57 stands at 123 kilos, so it certainly will be interesting to see how close she can get herself to that number.
Her nomination of 116 is the second highest in the group, as we've pointed out, second only to Emilie Olin of Sweden, who will be in the A group, nominated at 121. Certainly a very good chance of a podium, even if with 2 successful attempts, she'd probably be pretty secure up there.
Michelle Lee from Singapore, 62.5 kilos, just fixing the rack height there, so the clock restarts for her.
That's 3 white lights, a good first attempt.
Lauren Keenan from Qatar walked away with the biggest squat from this flight, just narrowly missing her third attempt. Still, with that 167.5, enough to put her in the lead of the B group for squats. 67.5 now on the bar for her opening bench press. Seemed to have brought her opener down from where it was before, adjusting perhaps for the day. Just getting that bench in on the board and safe.
And just nice, safe opener, 3 white lights.
And I'm not sure how much she brought that opener down. Maybe she wasn't feeling as good, or maybe she was just conscious about getting those white lights and making sure she got one on the board and how she was benching was okay. We've obviously seen some upsets in the bench press so far this competition, so some athletes adapting already. Lawrence Bondi now 70 kilos. Just 5 kilos below her best.
Three white lights, another very comfortable opening attempt. As we had with the squats, we want a very uneventful first round of bench press. Everybody just secures the first lift and then we can build up from there.
Anouk Rundler from Switzerland opening on 70 kilos. Yeah, I'd say bench press probably the most controversial lift out of the 3 in terms of a few different things. You know, it's got the most commands as the most infractions, and therefore a lot of different interpretations of both technique and rules. Very controlled, high rib cage. Usually that's where we see some trouble with elbow depth, but not for Wonderla. Looks good, 3 white lights, and I think she is a bit relieved about that probably as well.
And from the angle where we were seeing it, it was pretty much impossible to gauge elbow depth. From here, it looks just about fine, I think.
Elise Rumens from Belgium, 72.5 kilos.
A nice and comfortable opener.
Anna Bukalova from Czechia, opening on 72.5 kilos, which is her current best.
Yes, 3 white lights, a good lift.
The bar is loaded.
Ziyin Huang representing China, 80 kilos on the bar after a 160 squat. Great squat session for Huang. Very tidy looking opener and a good lift, 3 white lights. And not just is it good for an athlete to get those 3 white lights and know you've got that attempt made on your opener, but also that everything you're doing by the standards of the refs is a-okay, and you just need to worry about strength moving forward. Samantha Kratz from Australia opening on 82.5 kilos. Three white lights, that is a good lift.
Same way for catch-up Babic, Slovenia. Bar is loaded. Next to draw is Ostergaard, Denmark.
We now have Katja Babic from Slovenia, 82.5 kilos on the bar, 5 kilos off her best bench. Very, very comfortable.
Super easy for Katja.
Like we said, if we can bet on anyone for a strong looking consistent day, it's usually Katja. Four bench press openers remaining. Next out we have Mathilde Østergaard from Denmark, 85 kilos on the bar.
Another really comfortable opening attempt. Looking for lights there.
And not surprising to me to see a Scandinavian lifter with an excellent looking bench press.
It's a 2-to-1 with a red light from the center referee.
Yeah, she's getting an elbow depth call there from the center. Honestly, to me, that looks fine within the rules that I understand. For elbow depth, jury are discussing it, so we'll keep an idea for you there.
The left one was a bit higher than the right one, so maybe that just giving the illusion of inadequate depth.
Yeah, and illusion is the word to focus in on there, because that's not the rules to be even. Victoria Flavia from Hungary, 90 kilos. And it's a little tough for an opener, but it is a good lift, 3 white lights, and perhaps just a lifter that prefers opening nearer that top end and making those smaller increments of 2.5. What do you make of that?
Well, I think this is a 2.5 kilo jumps sort of opening attempt. Maybe a 5 and a 2.5 if she can really grind through a bench.
92.5 kilos for Martha Henry from Canada. Pretty textbook there for Henry. 3 white lights as she skips off the platform, so feeling pretty happy with that. I believe she dropped our opener as well, so happy that she's made the right choice and she can move forward in the bench press.
And just like that, an uneventful opening round so far, and we are here, we are at the big one, the one that has a chance at a podium, maybe to get close to record, but it would be some pretty big jumps to get there.
Yeah, Monica Della Torre now 112.5. I'm very intrigued to see how this moves and where she goes, like you said. Yeah, setting looks comfortable. She gets called for elbow depth from the center and side referee, which is trouble not getting that opening attempt in. Let's have a look at the replay. It's something you've got to worry about with that high rib cage, and the left elbow definitely is in, but the referee is indicating the right elbow was the issue. And we move forward to the second round. Della Torre still without a bench on the board, and if she can just get 1 or 2 in, she still could potentially be in contention for a podium on bench.
With 1, she's in contention. With 2, she's pretty secure.
So let's just hope she can get 1 on the board, not just for the bench podium, but for that total. Michelle Lee from Singapore, 67.5 kilos.
It's 3 white lights, still looking fairly comfortable for Lee.
Lauren Keenan, 72.5 kilos, representing Qatar.
Three white lights, still looking like a great second attempt. Still looking like there's plenty left in the tank.
Elise Rumens for Belgium, 75 kilos, looking for a 2.5 kilo jump here, 2.5 off her best. So like we were saying before, some lifters just like to open a little bit heavier and take those smaller jumps. It's what they may be used to in training. Versus others you might see make those slightly bigger jumps, 5, 7.5 kilos.
That is 3 white lights, a good second attempt. And we say smaller jumps, but percentage-wise, really a 2.5 kilo jump at these lower weights is still a pretty significant increase. Going from 72.5 to 75, that's a couple percent. Whereas jumping 2.5 with a 200, 300 kilo lift, much less of a percentage change.
Yeah, the comparison to the weight on the bar, but also on body weight at that. Anna Buglova from Czechia, 75 kilos, 2.5 kilo jump.
Three white lights, very comfortable looking second.
Florence Bondi from Thailand, 75 kilos, a match personal best on her second attempt.
Another very comfortable second. Do you see another 5 kilo jump there?
Anouk Vandela from Switzerland, 75 kilos on the bar for her second attempt. 5 kilo jump from her opener. Getting her shoulders nice and set there. Like I said before, bench a very technical lift and probably the least forgiving if that technique is slightly off. Well worth taking that minute that you have to set up and giving yourself just enough time to A, make the lift and get the command, but also B, if you need to set up again, to have the time to do so. Yeah, and you can just see how technical of a bencher she is.
Oh, about the same as her squat, also very technical. Again, she receives the red from the center referee. I would imagine once again one of the elbows being a little higher than the other, giving the illusion of lack of depth. I think she's okay here.
Something else there that makes it tough to tell is if a lifter's not flaring their elbows and they're just tucking it slightly more, the angle you get from that center referee position is slightly skewed because the elbows are moving forwards instead of out. Samantha Kratz from Australia, 85 kilos, 2.5 kilo jump.
Three white lights, another comfortable second.
Ziyin Huang, China, 87.5 kilos, opting for one of those slightly larger jumps that we've seen in this flight of 7.5 kilos to extend her PB by 2.5. Wow, and it is so comfortable for her. And still, 3 white lights, a good lift. And Huang is a great example of keeping and maintaining that high ribcage position without sacrificing elbow depth here. Not an easy feat to do.
Absolutely, and an almost 10% increase in weight there seems to be a non-issue for her.
Yeah, I can easily see another 5 on there. Katja Babic, 87.5 kilos for a match personal best in her second.
Looks like a comfortable second for a matched personal best. I was talking to her coach Urban yesterday. He said the bench is the lift they're looking to improve at this competition. This is where she's hoping to find the extra 2.5 kilos to improve her total from comp to comp.
Matilda Østergaard, 90 kilos, a 5 kilo jump, and this would match her personal best on her second attempt. And it looks good. I think it'll pass maybe with, yeah, a red from the center referee. Have a look at that again in the replay. And I don't think it's too different from her opening attempt.
Yeah, once again, the left elbow a bit higher than the right one.
Victoria Flavia. And the jury has overruled that to a no lift for Østergaard, which I do think is a shame. I don't think it was too different from her opener, but perhaps just enough. 92.5 now. Flavia. And it is a good lift and looks a lot more comfortable than her opening attempt, in all honesty. I imagine a further 2.5 kilos to hit 95 for that third attempt. Martha Henry, 97.5 kilos.
That's 3 white lights, a good lift.
Next up, and Lucas. Bar is loaded.
Now Monica De La Torre from Mexico, and we were talking even before bench press started about how she could be a contender for a bench press medal and even reach to get closer to that world record. Currently she needs to get a bench in on the board. She got 2-1 no lift in her opening attempt for elbow depth. Now is retaking the same weight, which seems sensible to me, to try and get on the board, and really just needs to sink it a little bit further if she's able to adjust. It definitely looked a little harder this time. But she's on the board, 3 white lights, and adjusted on the day.
The 112.5, if all of the A group lifters were to do their nominated best benches, this would already be enough for silver. However, she's gonna want to secure an extra couple kilos just to be safe, just to be in a bit of a better position to really secure a place on the podium.
Into the third and final round now. Michelle Lee, 70 kilos.
Three white lights, 3 for 3 on bench.
Elise Women, 77.5 kilos. 2.5 kilo jump, very match personal best.
Another 3 white lights, another 3 for 3.
Lauren Keenan, 77.5 kilos.
It's a proper fight, but she gets the bar up. Unfortunately, it's a 2-1 no lift, a red and a blue. Blue would be for downward motion during the lift. Red would be for insufficient depth, which I really don't see here. Blue, possibly. Just the slightest dip there, maybe. They are discussing something. Doesn't look like they agree.
Anna Bugalova from Czechia, 77.5 kilos.
Two to one, good lift.
Just a depth call on that left-hand side, referee, but looks more than deep to me. That is actually further than I think she would have to go. Anouk Vondeler, 77.5 kilos.
Still super technical, a bit shaky towards the top. As she uses max power towards that bar, but it's a 2-to-1 good lift.
Florence Bondi, 80 kilos, 5 kilo jump from her second. Just a bit heavy on the touch, the chest there. Maybe 5 kilos in hindsight, a little too much, but hindsight is 20/20.
Yeah, I always say it's very easy to be the coach after the competition.
Samantha Kratz, 87.5 kilos. And that is a good lift, 3 white lights. Good day so far for Kratz.
The bar is filled in. Personal best attempt at 2.5. There we go. The bar is filled in for Katja Babic.
90 kilos in the bar for Katja Babic for a new personal best. .5 kilo jump from her second feels more than reasonable.
Or nowhere else to go but here, and this is the one she wants.
Strong looking third attempt, and 2-to-1, a good lift. Just a depth call from that center referee. You have a look at that again in the replay. Coach staring down the jury as they watch the lift. And unfortunately they've overruled it to a no lift. Mathilde Oystergaard, 92.5, didn't get her second attempt, and now moves up to 2.5 kilos, 92.5 for a personal best. 90 would have been a match PB, but 92.5 on the day was just too much. Ziyin Huang from China, 92.5 kilos, a further 5 kilo jump, which is more than justified. The second moved very well.
And even a further 5 kilos, still looking very reasonable. It's a 2-to-1 good lift again. Red from the center referee.
Yeah, and we'll have to wait tentatively. As we know, the jury has got involved before. I again would be surprised to see that overruled, but I've been surprised before. They continue to discuss as we move forward to our third from last lifter out in this flight, Victoria Flavia, 95 on the bar.
Come on up.
2-to-1, a good lift. Just a depth call from that far side referee. Seeing quite a handful of those.
Have we had a bench press in round 3? did not receive at least one death call? I'm not sure we have.
We've had a couple, yeah, we have, but it's far and few in between. 100 kilos, a big milestone here for Marta Henry if she's able to hit it. A match personal best on the international platform. Having a great day so far. Walked away with a 160 squat, and this would give her a 100 kilo bench.
It's a big effort, but just cannot get through the sticking point.
There was nowhere else to go with the 97.5 second attempt. It was that or don't come out for the lift. So great effort.
Oh, she didn't miss on depth. Yeah, just couldn't push through the sticking point there. On the limit for the day.
And our final bench, 115 kilos here for Monica De La Torre from Mexico. Came back after not getting that opening attempt on elbow depth.
Now let's hope she repeats exactly what she's done in round 2. Unfortunately, it's a 2-1, no lift, a blue and a red. I don't see where the blue's coming from. We have to look at the replay.
It moved side to side. I didn't see it dip, and the coach goes to the jury, but one of the jury members pretty stubborn on the fact it wasn't elbow depth. And that concludes the bench press. De La Torre still leading the 112.5, followed by Henri and Victoria Flavia. Subject change this evening as we have the A group come through. We are going to head into a 20-minute break now before the deadlifts and the conclusion of 57B group. We'll catch you then. Welcome back to the 2026 IPF World Powerlifting Championships in Druskininkai, Lithuania. We now head into the deadlift event for the 57 kilo B group. The A group will kick off with the 74s this evening. But for now, we will see the conclusion of the B group. You can see a large array of openers here from 135 to 182.5. And kicking us off with that 135 kilos, we have Florence Bondi from Thailand.
That is 3 white lights, a good solid opener.
Michelle Lee from Singapore opening on 155 kilos.
Three white lights, very efficient looking.
As all of the girls have secured a squat and a bench, in getting that opening deadlift they secure their total. Samantha Kratz from Australia opening here with 155 kilos.
And that is another 3 white lights, another good lift, and another total secured.
Victoria Flavia from Hungary opening on 157.5 kilos. Dropped her opening attempt slightly here.
Three white lights, a good lift.
Oh, a big opening attempt from Henri at the tail end of the flight with 182.5. She's by far leading the B group, and I wouldn't be surprised to see her in the A group come next year, should she stay on this momentum. Anna Buglova from Czechia, 160 kilos.
And another 3 white lights, a good lift. As you said, the biggest opener of the B group in deadlifts, 182.5. We're expecting the deadlift medals to all be in the 210s, so perhaps not quite reachable, except if things go very wrong in Group A this evening. Which of course is a possibility, but we certainly do not wish to see that.
Metodo Østergaard, 162.5. Very comfortable looking opener for Østergaard, representing Denmark. Monica De La Torre from Mexico, 162.5. Had a little bit of a sticky start to bench, but still walked away with her second attempt, 112.5. Which, as you said, still might be good enough for a podium position on bench.
There's 3 white lights and a good lift.
Elise Rumnens from Belgium, 167.5 kilos, upped her opening attempt, so warm up, so imagine feeling good. And it is a good lift, 3 white lights. It's a little scrappy, but it moved at a pretty decent pace. Katja Babic, 167.5 kilos. Very technical looking deadlift there, and a good lift. 17.5 kilos off her best deadlift and total with that opener.
The bar is loaded for another.
Annick Wunderler from Switzerland, 167.5 kilos. Taking her time before she decides to pull that bar. And it moves very quickly. She took so long, in fact, that I was starting to worry that the weight was heavy. But no, definitely not the case.
Well, they say with sumo you have to be patient off the floor, and she was indeed very patient.
Yeah, patient even before she started pulling. Some lifters just like to make sure they're physically and mentally ready before they pull. Lauren Keenan, 170 kilos.
White lights, a good lift. I want to take a look at that replay because I saw some movement in the right hand.
Yeah, I did wonder the same, just at the lockout there, if she was beginning to lose grip on that overhand.
I think the hand started opening up a
I-
slight bit.
I think the thumb just moved, and I'm hoping that grip doesn't become an issue for her moving forward as it gets heavier. Up an ultimate opening attempt here, Zian Huang. 172.5, and just like her other lifts, very, very efficient.
Looked very easy. She looks like she's used to big jumps. So
Yeah. She's not spending any extra time on the platform than she needs to be there. She's such an efficient lifter. Get the job done, get off the platform. And our heaviest opening attempt, as we mentioned before, Martha Henry, 182.5 kilos. Just 7.5 kilos off her best deadlift here. Already this would give her a 440 total.
Three white lights, a good lift. With the old deadlift rules, I would have been worried a little bit about that right shoulder. But now with the imaginary projection of the bar and that wording, she's well in the clear with that.
And everybody has now secured their total. All 13 lifters can move forward into their second attempt without worrying now, for the first time all competition, that their total and place in the competition is at risk. We head through to the second round now of deadlifts. Florence Bondi from Thailand, 145 on the bar. So match personal best on deadlift, and would give her a 7.5 kilo total personal best. And 3 white lights, a good lift. Samantha Kratz from Australia, 162.5 kilos, 7.5 kilo jump from her opener. Still very, very quick there for Kratz. Especially with a lot of these lifters who won't be vying for a podium position on individual medals or overall. Second attempt certainly isn't a place to take any sort of risks. Third, I imagine they'll be pushing for their own personal goals. In most cases, 165 here for Victoria Flavia from Hungary.
A little sticky towards the lockout, but still looks to be good for more.
Yeah, and already that was a personal best on both deadlift and on total. So only up from there.
I'd imagine for a third, if it's a maximum effort, she's gonna want those knees to lock out slightly later.
165 kilos for Michelle Lee, 10 kilo jump, and who better to walk you out for a deadlift other than Farhana Farid. This is just 2.5 kilos below her best deadlift, and it would match her best total here on her second attempt.
That is 3 white lights, lovely second.
Anna Buklova from Czechia taking a 10 kilo jump to 170 kilos for her second attempt. So to give her a 5 kilo total PB.
Three white lights, still moves very nicely. Not sure there'd be another 10, but 5 to 7 would be more than reasonable.
Monica De La Torre from Mexico, 172.5 kilos. And a lot of these ladies are getting either right on their best totals or deadlifts on their second, or they're roundabouts within reaching distance. This is 5 kilos off her best deadlift, 11 off her best total. And another 7.5 on top of that would give her a deadlift PB. Do you think that's a jump that they would be comfortable making?
It was fast. As long as she can hold on and lock it out properly, I think 7.5 should be there.
Mathilde Oystergaard from Denmark, 175 kilos, 7.5 kilo jump from her opener. Again, getting near those personal best, 5 off her deadlift, 3 off her total. Speed still moving reasonably well. Another 5 kilos on top of that, I think would be a good call. Lauren Keenan, 175 kilos. 5 kilos from her opener, giving her a 2.5 best on deadlift and just 2.5 off her total PB.
Three white lights. I think the grip held stronger this time, so
Anouk Vandela from Switzerland, 175 kilos.
three white lights. Still staying very technical.
Yeah, very tidy finish to that pull. Been technical all day, very efficient lifter. 177.5 for Elise Rumans, 10 kilo jump, big jump here for Elise. Opener was comfortable. Let's see if 10 kilos is justified. Slow off the ground and a lot quicker towards that lockout, which is what you're used to seeing with sumo more than anything. But it seems to work for her so far. I think just making a sensible jump to that third.
Really shrugging the bar up as she locks out.
Katja Babic from Slovenia, 177.5 kilos.
Three white lights, a good lift for Katja, still very consistent, great technique. Matched total here, I think would be a reasonable call.
Yeah, that would be a 7.5 increase for that match total. Ziyin Huang from China, 185 kilos for a 5 kilo personal best on deadlift and 12.5 on total. It's a 12.5 kilo jump from her opener and did not slow her down really whatsoever.
Well, we're talking about big jumps, 12.5 kilo jump at this body weight and these weights, it's huge and seems to be no issue whatsoever for Huang.
Marta Henri, 190 kilos, 7.5 kilo jumper. Heaviest second attempt in this flight. Match personal best. Very patient off the floor and a little sticky towards lockout. But 2-1, it is a good lift, with center referee not quite happy with that lockout position.
I want to see that again. I didn't see anything wrong with the lockout per se.
Well, she also did 2 whites from side referee, so usually you can see that lockout a little bit better. And referees, 2 of them happy, jury all happy, they seem with it. As we move into the third and final round of deadlifts for these B group 57s. It will change the ranking and for overall and for deadlifts, but that is subject to change, as in about an hour's time we'll see the 57A group perform. 152.5 for Florence Bondi from Thailand for 7.5 kilo personal best on deadlift and total. scrappy, but she gets it moving and does manage to lock it out. Is it without any infractions? No, unfortunately, blues from the side referees.
I was worried about that. Blues, I would guess, for supporting on the ties here. It was very scrappy. You don't usually see sumo being grinded out like this.
Yeah, it's impressive to even be able to do that, really, in that position. Especially as the bar seemed to get away from her legs quite a lot. Victoria Flavia waiting here for her final attempt as the bar is loaded to 170 kilos. This will be for a new personal best on total and deadlift of 5 kilos, increasing it further from her second attempt.
Gets up to the knees, but no further, unfortunately.
Michelle Lee, 170 kilos. 2.5 kilo personal best on deadlift and 5 on total. Really well executed final attempt. Looks like the belt decided to undo for her right at the end, but managed to hold on just long enough to get that pull. I don't think she could do that again if she tried. It's very impressive.
Unintentional bell flick, something else.
Samantha Kratz from Australia, 170 kilos, a 7.5 kilo jump for her final pull. Currently sat with a 400 kilo total. This will go over 407.5. A little segmented but still smooth, with just a blue from the far referee.
And that blue was most certainly due to the segmentation. We're gonna check out the replay, see whether there was actually any sort of downward movement, because yeah, it was very borderline. I'll have to wait for the jury call here.
I think what happens where the blues come from is where the bar settles after she's locked out, up to the discretion of the jury there. But it seems like they are happy enough to give Kratz the deadlift. Anna Kukulova from Czechia, 177.5 kilos. The 7.5 kilo jump for a 7.5 kilo personal best on total and 5 on the deadlift.
As 3 white lights, great third attempt.
Next up is Matthew Ostergaard, Team Denmark, looking to match the personal best deadlifts.
We've seen some attempt changes come in. That'll just be trying to push themselves for what they can squeeze out from the day. You can change your final deadlift twice before the bar is loaded on your final attempt. You see a lot of that happen in fights for podium and positioning. Here would be a different case potentially, maybe for a top 10 position. 180 kilos in the bar for Lauren Keenan from Qatar.
It's heavy, gets up to the knees, but no further, unfortunately.
Mathilda Øyskard, 182.5 up to her final attempt. That was the attempt change we saw come in, trying to hit a top 10 spot potentially. Looking for a new personal best on deadlift.
Oh, it's a big fight. Unfortunately, it's two blue lights. Yeah, check out the replay as well. The jury, I can't call it before seeing the replay.
Yeah, there's a dip there. Unfortunately, that was a blues. Would have been for Elise Rumens from Belgium, 182.5 kilos.
Yeah, there's unfortunately a no lift.
Once again, this one's for Katia Babic, Slovenia. Bars loaded, on the left, get ready.
Katia Babic, 182.5. Not opting to match those personal best day, but looking for a 9 for 9 finish. And in terms of moral, 9 for 9, she obviously got that final bench taken away from her by the jury. A very strong finish. Is it enough at that lockout?
It's a 2-1 no lift, unfortunately. Two reds and a white. The center and the side revs just not satisfied with that lockout. Which from the front is really hard to judge.
The jury, of course, getting both angles there. Anouk Vandela, 182.5. Great. New personal best on total and deadlift.
Your best performance ever here on the world stage. Here we go.
Unfortunately, this time the technique breaks down and she cannot get the bar further up than to the knees.
Three deadlifts remaining. Not a hugely successful final round in this flight. 185 for Monica de la Torre.
It's a big effort, locks it out. It was shaky though. Three white lights, a good lift. She's really left everything on the platform there.
Martha Henry from Canada has dropped her final attempt here to 192.5 from 195. Looking for a top 6 potential finish. Looking for a top 10 finish, I imagine, overall with the A group to follow. This would give her a 450 kilo total. Great great end to the day there for Henri, and a good lift, 3 white lights.
450 from Martin Henry. Tops out the B group in the second lane is Angola.
Very patient off the floor and is rewarded for that patience.
4:45. The bar
And a
is
well-earned smile at the end.
Just a great third pole. Gets up to the top of the B group.
Ziyin Huang, our final pearl of the B group, representing China, 192.5 kilos.
This time it's slow, but it's going.
Been a formidable force all day long. What a strong end to her competition with a 4:45 total. Should these lights be white? The wait is long, but it is worth it. 3 white lights, a good lift, and a great way to cap off the session. And there concludes the 57B group, with Henri leading on deadlifts, bodyweight ahead of Huang, and then De La Torre. We are going to have the 57A group in about an hour's time. So these positions subject to change, of course, as we see a battle ensue for that world title. We will catch you there.